Hey guys, so we have news coming in from Mexico, and it seems like the war on drugs is going to turn into something else right now because we have El Chapo's son, who is now prepared to tell US prosecutors everything he knows. So let's just quickly go through this and then we'll discuss.
Into our border report now, Ovidio Guzman Lopez, the son of Mexico's
Ovidio
infamous El
Guzman.
Chapo Guzman, has officially accepted a plea deal with U.S. attorney prosecutors. He's pleading guilty to 4 criminal counts for his role in operating a faction of his father's Sinaloa cartel.
I remember when this guy got arrested, Ovidio, the police officers, the Mexican police officers who went in to arrest him, they didn't even know that he was there. And the moment they saw him, they realized that this was going to get out of hand. This was like a few years ago. And I remember the Sinaloa cartel members, they just, blockaded the entire city. They killed a lot of people, a lot of shooting going on. And finally, the previous Mexican president, Obrador, he actually made the decision to let Ovidio Guzman go because that was the only way to solve the violence. And a few weeks after that, I think the policemen who captured Ovidio were shot dead, and they were shot more than 100 times each. I mean, it's Mexico, right? Drug cartels, you all know the kind of violence they can resort to.
He allegedly admitted to 2 counts of drug distribution and 2 counts of participation in a continuing criminal enterprise. He was extradited to the U.S. from Mexico in September of 2023. He is now facing a possible life sentence. And you'll remember last year it was his brother Joaquin Guzman Lopez who was arrested in El Paso along with Sinaloa kingpin Ismael El Mayo Zambada.
He is the first of El Chapo's sons to enter a plea deal. WGN's Angelica Sanchez has the details from the Dirksen Federal Courthouse.
Good evening. Well, this plea agreement is being heavily criticized by the Mexican government. Criticism that's not sitting well with the defense attorney in this case.
So there was no agreement.
I'm sure there's a huge number of officials from the Mexican side and also from the American side who are probably involved with these cartels. So if this guy starts, spilling the beans, then a lot of people are going to get in trouble. The best way to stop him from speaking is to probably assassinate him. But if you do that, then again, there's a whole new problem of the Sinaloa cartel getting out of hand again. And especially with everything else that has been happening in America right now, with the immigration crisis and also with, the deportations and all, things can get seriously out of hand.
Agreement to bring over his family members. It's complete, it's utter bull.
Defense attorney Jeffrey Lichtman is dismissing any indication that there was more to the plea deal between federal prosecutors and his client, Ovidio Guzman Lopez. On Friday, he pled guilty to drug trafficking charges. His father, Joaquin Guzman, also known as El Chapo, is currently serving a life sentence after being convicted in 2019 for his role as the former leader of the Sinaloa cartel.
It had nothing to do with our agreement.
Federal prosecutors allege Ovidio Guzman Lopez and his brother Joaquin Guzman Lopez ran part of the Sinaloa cartel, becoming known as the Chapitos, or Little Chapos. Attorney Lichtman took aim at recent reporting indicating some of his client's family members crossed into the U.S. as part of a deal with the Trump administration.
The idea that any Mexican reporter has any clue, has the first clue about what's going on with Ovidio Guzman, it's a joke. It's not true. It's not true. The family came over having nothing to do with any agreement.
That's not all he called out.
The idea that the American government would include the Mexican government in any kind of American legal decision, negotiation, is absurd.
Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum criticizes the plea deal and lack of involvement of the Mexican government. She called it contradictory to U.S. policies, declaring cartels foreign terrorist organizations, and yet...
So this lady is from the Morena party, as was Mr. Obrador, who was the president before her.
Also striking plea deals with their leaders.
So what I would say to President Sheinbaum is perhaps she should look to her predecessors in the president's office and try to figure out why that happened.
Guzman Lopez's sentencing has been postponed as he will be cooperating with U.S. authorities.
I would say that almost every one of them, I think every one of them have their hands steered. Because in Mexico, you just can't get rid of the cartels. And you just can't run away from the cartels either. And if this gentleman is about to spill the beans, then all hell is about to break loose. On one hand, I think the Sinaloa cartel, obviously there's so much infighting going on between the cartels, right? And I think right now, Sinaloa cartel and the cjng, which is the cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación, these are the two biggest cartels. And if this gentleman spills the beans and becomes a turncoat, two things can happen. One is that the entire system will go topsy-turvy because a lot of people will get implicated. The other thing that will happen is that there will be a lot of bloodletting between the narcos, between the cartels, basically. So between CJNG and Sinaloa. These cartel types, they act like they are so honorable and all. They're all fucking thieves. Let's be very clear. And there's no honor among thieves. But they still stick to their own sort of unspoken code of honor. Like, you don't speak to the police, you don't snitch on your own. And if this guy reveals what he plans on revealing, that is going to create a shitstorm in Mexico. So I think there's a lot more we will get to know about this news. So let's all watch out for this.